he definitely is the best in Japan right now with a very, very convincing rank right there. So we're going to be seeing a really interesting match coming from Ken versus Anti, especially as Anti going for the Zero Suit Samus pick in this matchup.
Now, one staple that you'll see often in Ken's gameplay is he loves to run with Sonic, and that just sounds kind of strange, you know. why would you not be running with the fastest character in the game? But Sonic is so very centered around those spin dash mechanics that you don't often see a lot of the top Sonics run to the extent that Ken does, and he's so good at finding those openings and running behind and through the opponent in order to find punish attempts.
I've definitely seen how Ken's playstyle could vary depending on the pace of the match of his own. I did mention yesterday about how scary it could be to play against a Sonic that knows how to change between the aggressive and passive approach, but Anti really showing that he has not forgotten these ladder combos as Zero Suit Samus, and he's going to make it a really difficult time for Ken to land.
Yes, absolutely. He found that falling up air fantastically, and he was able to string that into a few more. Another cornerstone of Ken's gameplay. He is so good at reading those jumps and getting those back airs. That back air is so active for so long. 7 frames for a move of its power is pretty ridiculous. Antai's going to need to watch out. I like the pressure coming out from him. And now this way, he's going to need to capitalize. Unable to capitalize on the landing of Ken.
Ooh, he's tried. I saw that. Okay, he tried to get the paralyzer facing towards the stage, possibly get a stage cut.
Oh, that is going to punish the up smash, taking the stock. A bit of an ambitious boost kick coming out from Anti.
Good, not trying to overcommit there.
Ooh, good DI in to avoid the boost kick right there.
That was fantastic SDI, trying to DI into Zero Suit Samus behind her instead of trying to do it away.
Now, Anti playing is very patient, playing it pretty slow at the moment, just trying to find an opening in Ken's offense. And there we go with that flip kick. Not enough to take the stock just yet.
Tries to go for the back air off of the paralyzer. Not just even getting it just yet, but I'm seeing Anti really likes these flip kicks.
They're doing a lot of work from it at the moment, both in terms of being able to pressure Ken, as well as just, you know, being able to answer versus his own options.
And Anti finally getting in that grab, but he's not going to try to convert it into anything right now as Ken lands with a falling fair.
Yeah, Antai's just having a little bit of trouble finding this kill blow at the moment. Zero Suit can struggle a little bit in that regard, despite that incredibly safe and strong back air.
Especially as she's a stock behind. Sonic does not need to approach at this point, and with a character with the fastest ground speed in the game, he could literally run away.
And once again, we see that call out on the jump from Ken. He's so good at landing those back airs. Anti dancing around his shield, crossing mark, but still unable to find the opening that he needs. Ken's defense at the moment has been impeccable, but finally gets opened up with the paralyzer shot.
I really like the B reverse on the paralyzer. You know, empty hopping into the B reverse paralyzer, allowing Ken to think that he is safe to approach.
No punish on that down air. Very linear sort of move to land down with. So somewhat risky for Sonic to go for it. Again, trading with these back airs. Ken's so immaculate at placing those. Now, Anti doing a lot of these neutralizers. It does hit behind him, but it's kind of an awkward position to get.
That was fantastic timing on the forward smash tilted downwards there.
The timing of that was impeccable.
Like, he literally caught the 2-frame.
It is incredibly difficult to get the timing, particularly after a tether recovery off the ledge, but Ken just knew. His fundamental awareness as a player is so very strong. Let's see how Anti is able to adapt. The key thing there was that Ken's defense near the end of his stock was really, really strong. Anti was having a lot of trouble sealing that stock. He was looking for those back airs, but Ken was tacking on bits of damage here and there, and he wasn't able to seal the stock how he wanted. And that allowed him to build up a lead, and it meant that Anti was playing from the tail end the entire time.
He was, yeah. It looked like he was struggling on getting in that first stock, whereas Ken immediately had no problem. So to close in that gap, it was very difficult for him since he did not want to overcommit and get more percent on him as well. But seeing from this game, really a strong start with nearly 40%.
Yeah, he goes for an aggressive approaching grab. He hadn't done that at all the last set, so a great mix-up option coming out from Anti. Already a great 70% start coming up from him as well. And now that he is playing with the lead, he can afford to play in such a way such that knowing that Ken has to come in and play his game. Get the flip kick.
Getting the flip kick.
Incredible stock coming out from Anti. Real great adjustments to his gameplay coming out already.
I mean, we were mentioning how in the last game, Anti was very excited with those flip kicks, the first stock, and he was very eager in closing out Ken's stock with one of them as well. But finally, with the first stock here in this game too, Anti manages to land it.
Constant punishes on these jabs with that down smash, covers both sides of him pretty quickly. So it accounts for both the cross-up jab and the jab in front. That said though, even after that great start, Anti has had trouble landing a hit so far versus Ken.
Now we're seeing a very patient game from both of these players. So much respect being given as Ken just continues to hold shield, not trying to overextend as he is down a stock.
But I'm liking this from Anti in terms of trying not to get hit by those rising back airs that we saw a lot of from Ken before. He's doing a lot of retreating dumps in those situations where he feels the read is going to come out. An impeccable pivot grab coming out from Ken, but not enough to take the stock just yet.
Not enough. There is no rage on Ken yet, so he's going to have to work a little bit harder for those back throws. Ooh, but he waits for the air dodge. Unfortunately, last hit of up air not connecting.
DI's the forward throw properly. That is a bit of a DI mix-up versus the forward throw and up throw, but it's a lot easier to react to the up throw than the forward one.
And that back throw is going to be taking it. Samus is also pretty light.
Yes, only 24% on Ken at the moment, despite the very strong start from Anti. Another great aggressive grab. You know, Ken was sticking to shield a lot throughout that previous stock, and so these grabs finally hitting their mark, allowing Anti to get the damage that he needs.
Just the fact that they had a stare down, though, before the grab came out.
That's what we see with this kind of long-term conditioning. Anti has kind of used up his grab quota now. Ken is going to be very aware of that option, and so he's going to need to wait a little bit before he can use the grab again to try and get those super punishes versus Ken. He's going to rely on his normals instead, and of course that flip kick as we've seen a lot of to get the damage instead.
Ooh, but unfortunately getting punished for that whiff grab, and Sonic having that Sonic speed, able to punish him immediately from across the stage.
Yeah, likely anticipating a run in from Ken in that instance.
Anti using that paralyzer to capture Ken's landing there, but with the back air connecting, Anti is going to be taking game 2 versus Ken.
Yes, an excellent paralyzer shot into the neutral air, and finally concluding with that back air to take Ken's second stock. 1-1 in the set.
Now, what stage do you think Ken is going to want to be going toward?
Well, seems he's immediately picked for the town and city. Interesting choice considering Zero Suit's ability to kill off the top, but we haven't actually really seen that so far this set. The ladder combos haven't really been getting the kills. Instead, it's been those back airs and those flip kicks off the side.
It could be that Ken feels very confident that he won't be susceptible to being carried by these ladder combos, but instead taking it to his advantage with his trampoline.
An excellent pivot grab coming out from Ken. Good chunk of damage coming out from there. Once again, punishing the full jab with that down smash.
And that is the third one we have seen all set.
All right, evasive gameplay going back and forth. Catches the run pass this time. Good spacing coming out from both players. Both trying to look for an opportunity to get the punish. Of course, Ken looking for these run-through pivot grabs, while Anti likely trying to condition that option so that he can maybe get a grab later on. And there's the grab.
Ooh, but does not try to overcommit with that flip kick off stage.
Ooh, an unsafe dash attack that's going to get the punish.
Ooh,
Great tech chase on the platform.
Roll.
Sealing the stock with that back end. Now Anti at the deficit. This was what he was struggling with in game 1. Let's see if he's able to take the stock much more quickly this time.
trying to expect a roll there with the grab.
Now Ken playing incredibly patient at the moment, using his shield super effectively.
I mean, right now, with only 96%, he could definitely risk to hold shield as the timer continues to go off. Anti with a very aggressive up B, but Ken letting go of shield a little bit too early on the top platform there.
Yeah, and despite the fact that Anti hasn't been able to get too many big hits in, he hasn't been hit himself, and that's been incredibly crucial. If he's able to continue this level of play, he'll definitely be able to bring this back. That shield is looking incredibly small.
Does not want that to pop.
Challenging that flip kick very, very aggressively with that up air.
Great timing on the roll there with a grab punish from the whiff grab from Anti.
And that was the first grab that we had seen in a little bit of a while coming out from Anti. So it was good that Ken was aware of it nonetheless.
I like the use of the dash attack, trying to get away from that situation.
A good catch on the ledge jump. Can he keep the juggle? Yes, he can. Taking the stock. Poor DI in coming out from Ken means that only 47% on Anti. This is definitely very doable for both players.
Talent City definitely showing to help out both of these characters as well.
Good spring to relieve himself from the pressure being applied by Anti. Trying to run in versus the spin dash with that dash attack, but of course the intangibility from the spin dash brute forcing through.
Yeah, but I really like the use of spring to get away from that situation and opt to go for the ledge instead. With these aggressive approaches that we're seeing from Ken, he may be holding shield, but every time he sees Anti press a button, he's always there just in case.
That's a critical grab. Is that going to be it?
Uppy, no, we have great DI. He's trying to retreat towards the ledge invincibility. I like how he recovered above the ledge to prevent himself from getting paralyzed.
Excellent pivot grab once again. Those run-in pivot grabs have been doing so much work for Ken.
Absolutely. He's always catching Anti whenever he's jumping in the air with those pivot grabs. This is a bad position for Anti to be in.
Yep. Well, Ken primed and ready to catch the jump, but Anti going a little bit higher. And I like that from Anti, not being too hasty with the jump.
Look at the patience that we're seeing right now from Ken. Notice how he's not trying to overcommit at this percent.
Yes, it has been incredibly, incredibly patient. Another pivot grab. Is that going to be the set?
Not
no, great
yet.
DI. This is so, so close for both players.
Is Ken understanding that this game could go either or as he gets taken to the very top. Good mix-up on his landing right there behind Anti.
Gets scooped up. Double up air. Not enough just yet. Waits for the air dodge, but not in position to get a punish. This is really down to the wire for both players. Again, great spacing around that rising back air. Oh, he tried to catch the landing with a down smash.
He did, but he managed to fall with Nair instead.
Oh, the way that they're so aware of those critical options at the moment from both players. It's such a tense moment for both.
Ken is hungry for that grab, though,
and
he managed to get it with the back throw, taking the set over Anti. And look at that gasp. That was such a close game. And wow, Ken putting up the fist. He's a little relieved right there. That was a very close game. And he continuously to get away with these pivot grabs, catching Anti in the air each time.
Yes, that was an incredibly intense adaptive set from both players.